What's up, game boys and girls? Big T here, back with another video, and we got a few things we can talk about that have kind of come up news-wise for Nintendo. So let's just kind of get into it. We know that there's a situation with key cards when it comes to Nintendo themselves, which is something that kind of surprised everyone, including myself. And we never thought that Nintendo themselves would not put games on key cards, games that they published anyway. So this is Pokopia, I think it's called, Pokopia, whatever it is. The really crap-looking Pokemon cozy game, the kind of farming simulator game, Pokemon. They did show the video of it being like a key card, explanation of what key cards were, and Pokopia is one of the games that's doing it. It's kind of a surprise. I was never going to buy that game anyway, so that's not on my radar. You guys know how I feel about game key cards. I don't mind them. I didn't mind them in the abstract. I didn't mind them because I was like, okay, well, this is a way for companies who can't fit their games onto a Switch 2 card. This is a way for them to be able to put games out. But even if games fit on key cards, they're not putting them on there. And it has to do with the price of the game cards for Switch 2 themselves. They're just too expensive. In some cases, I don't understand, because some companies who you think couldn't afford to buy one of these game cards actually putting their games on game cards. You have smaller indie companies putting their games onto a game card. I think they are upcharging it, which again I'm fine with. I was fine with that all the way back on Switch when they upcharged for games to be on Switch cards, and I'm fine with that on Switch 2 as well. Just give me the option. If that's all I'm asking for. But a lot of these companies don't want to even do that. They don't want to spend the money on the key card. They don't want to risk whatever profits they might lose. And again, I don't completely blame them. This is a Nintendo problem. This is how Nintendo built their console. So this is ultimately on them. And so I decided I don't want to support key cards, and it's a case-by-case thing. My main problem with key cards is that too many companies are using them. I don't have a problem with key cards outright. I just don't like the fact that basically at this point every big third-party game that comes out on Switch 2 is on a key card, and I don't even have the option to have a physical game on Switch 2, and that bothers me. So unfortunately, I decided, it's going to be a case-by-case thing. I opted to get, Star Wars Outlaws on keycard for Switch 2. That's because I got it for pretty cheap, and I have the Xbox Series version of it anyway, Series X version. And that is as physical as it gets. The game still isn't physical on any system anyway. So that to me isn't as bothersome because the game just isn't physical anywhere. But if I can get the game physical, I will do that. And what's the other? Is there another game that I have? I don't think there's another one that I have key card wise. But I'm not completely against key cards. I might go back and get like Street Fighter when it gets cheap enough. Because I do have that also on Series X, so I at least have a physical copy of that game. So it's not as a big a deal. I just want to be able to play it on the Switch 2, on the go, and all that kind of stuff wherever I want to. And so there is cross saves, so that's cool. If your game has cross saves and I can get it physically somewhere else, I'll probably, if I care about it enough, do that. Do the key card thing if I have to on Switch 2, and then do cross saves on my other console, most likely my Xbox Series console, or even on PC. Because I do have PC handhelds, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, you don't have to support that. That's the thing. You can be upset about these things, but at the end of the day, don't support them. I didn't like the idea Nintendo was trying to charge $70 for Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 1, and yeah, I didn't like that, so I didn't support it. I got the voucher. I got the digital version of the game. Where it was like $100 and you could buy 2 brand new games. I got that, and I got Pikmin 4. So I actually saved money, and I just wasn't going to support getting the game for $70 because I didn't think it was worth it. You're reusing a lot of assets from Breath of the Wild, and you're charging $10 more for this game on Switch. I'm not paying for a $70 game on Switch, and I'm still hesitant to do it on Switch 2, but I will in certain cases. But I think there's more justification of it on Switch 2. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of justification for $70 games. But that's just the standard now. So if you're gonna buy new games, you're probably gonna be spending that. I always try to find a discount. I usually do find discounts. I find rebates and all kinds of stuff to get around having to pay that. So I usually don't pay the full price. So that's the thing. But that's just it. You don't have to support that. The Pro controller, Switch 2 Pro controller. I was not paying $100 for basically a standard controller, and I just didn't want to pay that. And so I waited, and I got like a discount, and I got like some kind of because I'm a freaking buyer on eBay, so I got like a $15 off coupon or something. And then I also, and the controller itself that I found was refurbished. It was an open box thing, it's probably, something that people was using at a demo kiosk or something. But it had a box. It came in a box with all the, paperwork, and I got it for $56, which is not $95, $100, whatever they're trying to charge. So you don't have to support these things. You can have your issues, have your complaints about a console or a company, still purchase that because you want, you want what you want. You want the video games you like. You want to be able to play the series that you like to play, but you don't want to support certain practices. You don't have to. There's ways around that. Without completely breaking down and losing your mind over these things. And so, again, I'm not going to support Pokepia or whatever it's called, because, first of all, that game shouldn't be $70. It's a $70 game. That game looks like something you would play on a 3DS. Visually, it looks like a 3DS game. And on top of that, a key card. Are you out of your mind? You're charging people $70 and a key card, and so you don't even get the game. Like, come on, no, I'm not supporting that, and I will never support that. And that is an option. You don't have to support the things that you don't like on Switch 2. You can support the things you do like, and that's what I did. That's what I do. That's what I did. And so I got Cyberpunk. I thought that was a really good value. There is a keycard game coming up, or at least a set of keycard games from Capcom, the Resident Evil kind of trilogy they're putting together. I will buy that because that is a way to get something physical, but it's also just a really great deal for 3 games. So that's a thing that I will support. And I have Resident Evil 7 already on PS4, and I can get Resident Evil 8 and then Requiem down the line. I can get Resident Evil 8 for really cheap on Xbox or PS4, Resident Evil Village, and I'll get Requiem physically at some point as well. So, but at the end of the day, I'm able to play them on the console I want to play them on, the one that I'm actively playing the most, my Switch 2. So That's what you can do there. But Valve, let's talk about the news. The Valve just dropped a bomb on everybody, the industry and whole, and they just did what Microsoft said they're going to do at some point, and Sony has been hinting that they're going to do, and that is release like this hybrid console. And once I got my hands on the Steam Deck, I don't have it. It's charging over there. I don't want to reach it. I'll just use my Legion Go here as my Steam Deck stand-in. Once I got my hands on the Steam Deck, I looked at it and was like, why didn't somebody do this before? Like, and I basically, again, this is not the Steam Deck. This is the Legion Go. I also have the Steam Deck, as you guys probably know. But the Steam Deck is a console, and people will fight me about that. But no. You turn it on, it goes to games. You have to say, I want to go to PC to do PC stuff. And it's still Linux desktop. It's not like Windows. You can, backload Windows, whatever they call it, onto your Steam Deck. I don't know why you do that, because you're defeating the purpose of, Linux and having a Steam Deck. But you can do that. So, but if you turn on the Steam Deck, it goes right to games. It goes right to your Steam library. You have to decide, I want to go do PC stuff, and switch out of that once you get into the game spot, and once you get into the game segment of it. And I was like, this is amazing. This is what Microsoft probably should do with their next console. I said this a couple of years ago or so. Boot up into Xbox and whatnot, and then allow people to go to Windows Desktop. If they want to go to Windows Desktop from their Xbox OS. And Steam just said, we're going to beat y'all to that. Because they already did with the Steam Deck. But they're like, let's go do something more high end. They did the Steam box before, Steam machine before. Kind of failed because they had a bunch of people kind of branding them and making their own, and it just wasn't a nice streamlined situation. The Steam Deck gave them the confidence to retry this, and I think it's going to be a success. And how much of a success is kind of up to them. Steam Deck, if you guys don't know, is you can only order it through Valve. You have to have a Steam account, which makes sense because it's kind of confusing if you go to market in a retail store and say, hey, you might not know what this Steam thing is. We have this console here, but it doesn't take games off the shelf or anything for you kind of average shop or purchaser of video games for maybe somebody else. But, I think there is ways around that as well. You just boot the thing up and say, hey, let's open a Steam account. This is how you download games for this. So there's ways to put this in retail and have it make sense. Obviously, you have to educate the retailers themselves. You have to educate, the people behind the counter, and let them know what to tell customers, potential buyers. So that's the thing, though. I don't think with the Steam machine, you're going to see them in retail stores, at least not initially. You still don't have Steam Decks in retail stores. I feel like they are in Japan or somewhere international. But I'm pretty sure not anywhere in the U.S. can you buy it in a retail store. And that's why it's not like, selling 50 million units. I think it could if they did that, but because you have to have a Steam account, you have to have a Steam account to even buy the thing initially. So that will limit who can purchase it, who will buy it. And so once they figure out that situation, it's going to be great. But so I want to say Microsoft may have something to worry about because we speculate that their next console, we don't speculate, they've been kind of hinting at it, that next console is going to be kind of hybrid, kind of a Xbox PC. And I think because of Windows and because of people's loyalty, and we're talking about Linux, which is 3% of the market share as far as desktop computing goes. Obviously, Windows still is very strong. Most people who are familiar with PC gaming will gravitate towards a Windows unit. And that just makes sense. So Microsoft will probably still be fine, but and I think Valve's kind of a smaller company. I think they have 350 to 400 employees. So it's nice to see a company that knows their size and knows their limitations and doesn't try to overextend themselves or chase money. They just are happy being a profitable company going along. Valve makes me happy in the ways that Apple used to make me happy with their tech. When they dropped this video about the Steam machine and the Steam controller, which also looks awesome, and also the Steam, what is it called? Steam, not lens, frame. I think it's called Steam Frame or Steam Frames, which is a new VR headset. Yeah, I was super excited. I felt the way I used to feel about Apple when they showed new technology. I no longer feel that way. I don't think their leadership is anywhere near as good as it used to be. So I don't get as excited for this stuff. I still like their products, but it's not as exciting for me anymore. And Valve is starting to make me feel that way. So it is really cool. It's like a little GameCube. It has detachable faces, so there's some customization there. It's fairly easy to like upgrade your hard drive if you want to do that on your own. I've done that on my Steam Deck, and this seems to be even easier. So you can do that. It has a little LED light on the front. You can program and do all kinds of cool stuff, and that's cool. That's the things that I like about Valve. They don't try to force you into anything. They like their open platform. They celebrate it, and that's cool. I like that a lot. So the biggest thing is going to be pricing. Like if this thing is $600 or less, it's sold to me. If it's more than that, it's going to be a tougher sell. I probably will push it to 7, depending on its performance. I know what the specs are. I just need to see it operating and seeing games running on it. It's going to be really cool to, just have my Steam Deck. Because I used to dock my Steam Deck when I got home and play it on my monitor and whatnot. And that's not the greatest experience because you're stretching out, the screen and whatnot. And it doesn't look as good. I have a 2K monitor, which I'm very happy with. So I don't need some super high-end PC that runs 60 frames or 120 frames at 4K. 2K is fine for me. I have, I don't have super robot eyes where I need that. So I don't need some crazy powerful box. And if this comes in at a good price, sold. I am also looking forward to the Steam frames. I think that's cool. But I'm guessing they're going to be expensive because the Valve, what is it, Index, the last VR headset is like still $1,000. So I'm not too optimistic about the pricing on that. So it'll be whatever on that. But yeah, the controller looks awesome. I'm gonna definitely enjoy that one way or the other. I'll get that. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be $100. Valve ain't cheap, I mean, the Steam Deck is I think is pretty cheap, but on the other hardware, they seem to be really high on those prices. And but it'd be nice to have a controller that's not my Xbox. I mean, I love my Xbox controller, but when you have a Steam Deck and you go to using an Xbox controller, you're losing a lot of the features that you have on your Steam Deck, like the touch pads and all that stuff, the programmable buttons on the back and all that. And you're getting all that now. The Steam controller is basically a Steam Deck without the screen, without the gaming. It's the same controls and whatnot. So that's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna it's come out a good price. It's gonna definitely cut into my playtime as far as playing on my Switch 2, because hey, I can already take my Steam Deck on the go And if I can play like big games and them look good on my home screen as well, like what happens with my Switch too, there's going to be some jockeying for position here. And so, these are the type of things that I say when I say Switch 2 I don't think will be as successful as far as the install base as the Switch 1 was, because the competition is different. Now, yes, there are PC handhelds. Yes, they don't have the same traction. But Valve could slowly be pushing into that direction. See, I don't think they wanted to go out there and just compete and bang, heads with the big boys right away. I think they wanted to go out there and show that, hey, we can do this. We'll do it at our own pace. We'll work out the kinks in our hardware and software, which was, a big thing in the beginning of the Steam Deck. There were some software issues, and they just slowly worked out the kinks. They had the feedback system, which is fantastic. The updates were coming and coming and coming, and the machine, just got better and better. And I have the OLED now, which is beautiful, fantastic screen on that bad boy. And it's just a really sleek, nicely ergonomic controller, or not controller, but handheld, and it's great. So yes, Nintendo will have some worries. I think this will cut into, again, it depends on pricing. This will cut into Nintendo a little bit. Maybe, Microsoft doesn't need any help not selling. So I'm sure this will affect them to some degree. And I think this will probably affect Sony the most, because Sony's kind of behind on this whole new wave of the future with gaming. And they're talking about doing the same things Microsoft is doing at some point, but they're already behind. And now Steam is going full steam ahead, no pun intended, with trying to have a set-top box, a console that plugs into your TV. It's gonna get really tough in there once, if Sony just drops with another traditional console, and it's super expensive, and their games go to PC anyway, go to Steam, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough buy for a lot of people, and I think Sony knows that, and that's why they are trying to jockey themselves and have this kind of hybrid console. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I just want to double back around to, talking about, hey, don't support bad practices. You don't have to do that. You don't have to support bad practices from anybody. Buy what you like. Be frugal. Be smart about your purchases. And you don't have to be all bent out of shape and upset about these things. The things you don't like about companies. Like, again, I'm not going to support, I don't like them, and prove that by not supporting it. I don't like this whole, what do you call it? I'll have a video specifically on that, but I don't like the whole Switch 2 edition thing. I don't like it, and I'm not going to support it. $80 games, come on. These are old games. They should be discounted and charged, at the most $70. You shouldn't be charging $70 for them. $50, $60 for these games. Because Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, is 2 years old at this point. You shouldn't be asking for $70 still for that game. And like Kirby and all this other stuff, these games should already be discounted anyway, because they're old games. You shouldn't be charging $60 and then the bump in cost. I will talk about this in another video, because if I get into it right now, it'll be too much. But yeah, you don't have to support it. And it's just, again, it's funny watching the Switch haters, Switch 2 haters specifically, dance around. I'm trying to remember what Nintendo's recent, what do you call it? His recent title for his video. It's so sad and pathetic. You can't, at this point, you definitely can't pretend that you're not just grifting when your title is something like Switch 2 is the worst best-selling console of all time. Like, that's just pathetic. It is pathetic. There's no way to say you're not grifting at this point. You're just, it's like salty, you know. Supposedly you're a Nintendo fan, and Nintendo is doing well. You know, that in some way should make you feel good. Like, okay, the future of a company that I like is strong. You can still not support the practices that you don't like. You know, you don't have to. You didn't have to buy the Switch 2 at this point. That's fine. But to say it's the worst, best selling console of all time, that's just, come on, man. Come on. You're going to concede at some point. You're going to have to concede. Because it's just going to be too ridiculous. It's already getting there, my friend. It's already getting there. With your takes, your narratives are already looking really sad. I take no joy in it. My thing is, I'm only doing this because I'm only saying these things because of the way you try to portray yourself. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even mention you ever. Maybe in passing, but to like focus on you in videos, I wouldn't do that. But because you're trying to portray yourself as some purveyor of verity and truth, it's nonsense. You're grifting. It's fine. You're grifting, but don't, be fraudulent about it. But yeah, that's my video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about all this new Steam hardware? Steam's going fully in. I still think they're gonna go at their own kind of pace. They're not gonna go crazy or anything. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I'll buy in if the price is right for everything. And yeah, again, do you just practice, not buying and putting up with BS from anybody? You don't have to support any of these bad practices, and you can have fun and still just game and do your thing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you again for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.